Hello guys, it's me. Okay, I wanted to do a quick documentation of my camera since about the beginning of January or December or so has been messed with. I sleep with a camera on for surveillance, and generally it doesn't get messed with. There have been a few times where they've crashed the hard drive and messed with it that way to stop a recording, but they've never messed with the gigabytes. So I'm going to show you basically what's going on. Okay, so this is last night's right here, and I know that it's kind of small, but you can see 6.8 gigabytes. In general, 1 hour of footage is about three and a half gigabytes long. So it said that I turned the camera on at 3:23 a.m. and turn it off at 8:08 a.m. So that's roughly, 5 hours or so. Um, so it should be, you know, 15 to 16 gigabytes. Instead, it's just below 7. So how I can figure out how long I've been basically pulled for, someone was in my house or something was going on. I'm showing here it's probably about 3 hours that I was taken. As you guys know, I'm MK Ultra. I have remote hypnosis, brain implants, all that kind of stuff, and I get pulled by the scumbags in the neighborhood. I've been steadily poisoned since about December with hives all over my body, um, uh, anaphylactic reactions, which I have photos of. Uh, been dosed with something that burns my stomach. I can taste it in my mouth. Have had condoms in my front, condom wrappers in my front lawn left, and it's pretty obvious that I've been utilized. They, in my sliding door, they removed the the screw, and I can't get the screw back in. So I believe that may have something to do with, messing with the lock or whatever. So here we go. So last night, there was another incident which prompted me to finally make this video. So obviously you can see 6.8 and 5 hours, it doesn't add up. I thought they had stopped doing this because the past couple nights prior, everything was back to normal. All the gigs were back to normal with the timing. Now I've been taping myself for a few years, so I know how many gigs there should be. So you can see here 3:46 a.m. on April 14th, and 8:27 a.m. is when it was stopped. And you have 16.51 gigabytes, which is correct. And then we have, let's see, April 12th of this year, we have 18.79 gigabytes, and that's 3:24 a.m. to 8:44 a.m. And I try generally to stay up as late as possible. The earlier I go to bed, the more damage is done to me, the more damage is done to where I live. My dogs are always traumatized the day after these incidents occur, and they don't act right. They're being dosed with things too. Okay, here we go. So we have, and then April 10th, we have 16.88 gigabytes, and that's 4:12 a.m. to 9:01 a.m., about 5 hours, and 16.98 is just about right. And April 8th, we have 21.72 gigabytes, and that was 2:02 a.m. to 8:12 a.m., which is correct. Okay, and then we have April 7th, which is about 3 a.m. or 2:54 a.m. to 5:46, or, oh, okay, 2:54 p.m. in the afternoon and to 5:46 p.m. I tried to take a nap. 3 hours, 10.14 gigs, roughly 3 gigs an hour or so. Correct. Okay. And then 4/7 at 4:43 a.m. to 9:16 a.m. 16 gigs, which is just right. All right. So then, oh, even before that, we had 1:15 a.m. to 3:16 a.m., 2 hours, 7.12 gigs. Okay, so you guys are seeing it averages about 3.5 gigs an hour. Now, on April 5th, okay, so I purposely started doing videos during the day to test the gigabytes and see if there's something, they changed something within my computer, but they didn't. So April 5th at 8:54 a.m. to 11:05 a.m. and we have 7.53 gigabytes, about 3.5 an hour again, correct. April 4th, 4:30 a.m. to 8:16 a.m., 13.24 gigabytes, again, correct. Okay. All right. All right, now here we go. This is a night that I got pulled and utilized for something against my will. April 2nd, we have 8.51 gigabytes, and it was 2:19 a.m. to 8:14 a.m., which is at 6 hours. So 6 hours by 3 should have been minimum of 18 gigabytes, and we have 8 gigabytes. So how I can tell how long I've been pulled for, I take about what it should be. So there's 10 gigabytes of information or so missing. We can even round it up to 12 gigabytes of information missing, which would be about 3.5 to 4 hours that I was taken for. And whenever they're pulling me, I'm waking up sick. I'm waking up dosed with things, injured. It's not good. All right, so April 1st, we have 8.51 gigabytes on 3:48 a.m. to 9:33 a.m., which is about 6 hours again. And same equation as the day before. There's about, 2 to 3 hours missing of time off of the camera. Okay. And then 11:46 a.m. to 2:55. We have 9.53 gigabytes, which is correct, 3 hours. Okay. And then we have 3:37. All right, 3:32 a.m. to 8:44 a.m. And that is about 5 hours. So we should have about 15 to 18 gigabytes, and we have 7 gigabytes here, which means, once again, I was pulled for a few hours. I left for the afternoon, and 1:06 p.m. to 2:47 p.m., 4.75 gigabytes, that is correct. Okay. 12:56 a.m. to 8:04 a.m. This is a 7-hour tape. This should have been, 21 to 24 gigabytes, and we have 10 gigabytes. So there are, quite a few hours missing off of this tape. 3:20. Oh, and that one was 3:23. 3:20, we have 8:54 a.m. I left and got back at 11:42 a.m. I taped the house while I'm gone, and 9. 69 gigabytes, which is correct. 6.6 gigabytes, 2:04 p.m. to 3:56 p.m. Correct. All right. February 7th, 6 gigabytes on 2 hours. Correct. Okay. March 18th, 14.64 gigabytes on a roughly 4-hour tape. Correct. And that was on 3/18. 3/17, 6 gigs. I was leaving the house on a 2-hour tape. That's correct. Okay, we have a 6-hour, or a little under 6-hour tape here on March 14th from 3:34 a.m. to 9:07 a.m. and we have 8.15 gigabytes, so there is quite a few hours missing, yet again, where I was missing and dosed and sick. 3/12 2020, 4:44 a.m. to 8:47 a.m. 5.92 gigabytes, which should be 2 hours of a 4-hour, so I was missing a few hours, or God knows what, or they were doing something in my house, something they had to cover for a few hours. March 8th, 5:13 a.m. to 10:53 a.m. That's 8.37 gigabytes. So that would be a few hours there. Once again, not correct. 6:18 p.m. to 10:49 p.m. We have 4 hours and 6.46 gigabytes, and that is not correct either. And I remember I woke up sick that night. Okay, 7.92. Yep, that's right for this one. Okay. Once again, I believe I left and put the tape on. So, and that was March 2nd, 4:17 to 7:33 p.m. That's correct. Okay, 6:22 a.m. to 10:14 a.m. That's almost a 4-hour, and that's 8.87 gigabytes. So that's about 2 hours. So roughly there's a few hours missing yet again. February 23rd, 2:09 a.m. to 9:54 a.m. We have 16 gigabytes. So that's a 7-hour tape. And the 16 gigabytes is shows more missing time, because it should be on a 7, yeah, on about a 7-hour tape, it should be 21 to 24 gigs, so a couple hours missing there. February 19th, I went out, that's correct. February 16th, 12:26 a.m. to 7:03 a.m. and we have 9.46 gigabytes, which is roughly 3 hours or so, and the tape is actually 7 hours, so there are more hours missing. February 15th, 2:12 a.m., 9:16 or 9:15 a.m., so that's about 7 hours, 10 gigabytes. Again, more missing time. We have February 14th at 2:46 a.m., and that is 2:46 a.m. to 10:37 a.m. We have 11.46 gigabytes, and it should be twice as much on a 8-hour tape. All right. February 13th, 2:27 a.m. to 8:38 a.m. About a 6-hour tape again. So that should be 18 or so. So roughly on average, they're taking me for 2 to 4 hours, or doing things in my house, something where they have to cut it out of the tape. You don't really notice. I leave like the TV on, or I leave something on with noise to create a continuity, but somehow they're able to get past it. I know that they have technology to do this somehow with the tapes, but I'm just showing now because I had restored my health, everything was great, and then they had decided to once again redose me with candida and fungus and parasites, everything that I had cleared out of my body, and openly, publicly said, I've cleared this out of my body, I feel great, my brain feels great, everything is great, and they decided to redo this. Now, I am somebody who does a liver and gallbladder cleanse every 2 weeks. I don't eat sugar. I've lost 40 pounds. I'm on pretty strict keto. I live a very, very clean lifestyle. I'm fastidious about my health. There's no way that this could happen. They have a pesticide coming through my vent, and you can hear it go off shortly after I go to sleep. And the other night it woke me up, and I look up and I see this oily residue like coming out of the vent. So it's a pesticide that I've been documenting. I wake up and my hair reeks like this stuff, and my liver hurts when I wake up from whatever it is. And I found pesticide studies in my computer where universities were hooked up to my computer running pesticide studies. So, yeah, great. So we have February 7th, 4:24 a.m. to 8:53 a.m., roughly 4 hours, 6.42 gigabytes. That is not right. That's 2 hours right there. So another couple hours missing. We have 1:57 a.m. to 8:07 a.m., which is about 6 hours, and we have 8.8 gigabytes. This is the longest night ever, apparently. So, yeah. 1:47 a.m. on February 2nd, and 9:31 a.m., which is 7 hours. And so that should have been 21 to 24, and we have 11.06 gigabytes. So I know this is getting tedious, but I'm just going to document all of it. Okay, so we have January 31st, 4:40 a.m. to 8:14 a.m., 5.06 gigabytes. And that is not correct. It should be twice as much. January 30th, 3:48 a.m., 6.707 gigabytes, 3:48 to 6:02 a.m. That is, or 8:02 a.m., I'm sorry. That's about 4 hours, so that should be about twice as much again. 11:01 p.m. to 8:15 a.m., and that is one of the longest tapes. So that's about 9 hours, and that should have been closer to 30 gigs, and we have 13. Not good. All right. And you'll notice I sleep for a long time. Generally, they don't let me sleep more than 4 hours, which means I'm gone. The 28th of January, 3:50 a.m. to 11:12 a.m. So about 4 a.m. to 11 a.m., which is 7 hours. 10.5 gigabytes. It should be twice as much. January 27th, 4:38 a.m. to 9:35 a.m. 7 gigabytes. It should be roughly twice as much again. All right. 5:38 a.m. to 8:52 a.m. on the 25th. Once again, should be twice as much. The 23rd of January, 2:21 to 6:19, 6 hours, 8:54. Once again, it should be, twice that. 25th, 9:09 a.m. to 11:29 a.m. I was gone for a few hours at Walmart, and that was 6.29. That's about correct. Okay, Tuesday, the 21st of January, 3:49 a.m. Or 10:45 p.m. to 3:49 a.m. when I woke up. That's what, 11, it's about 4 hours or so. So that should have been about 12 gigabytes, and we have 7.2. So this is what it looks like for a trafficking victim when they start messing with your camera. And historically, they've never done this before. I put my camera on, and I'm cool. January 20th, 3:22 p.m. to 5:18 p.m. I left for the afternoon, and that 6:56 is correct. The 18th of January, 3:42 a.m. to 9:05. Once again, should be twice as much. Incorrect. 17th of January, 4:17 a.m. to 8:53 a.m. 6.59 gigabytes. Once again, not correct. January 16th, 5:43 a.m. to 11:05 a.m. 7.85 gigabytes, should be twice as much as that. Not correct. 5:45 a.m. to 11:24 a.m. 8.94 gigabytes. Not correct. And you'll notice too, as far as that goes, once the sun comes up here, they generally don't, there's less time for them to mess with me. So the earlier I go to bed, the more poisoned and sick I wake up, and the more crazy shit that they can do. The 13th of January, 6.26 gigabytes on a 3-hour tape. Not correct. 3:10 a.m. to 8:53 a.m. almost a 6-hour tape. 8.18 gigabytes. It should be 3 times as much. Not correct. January 11th, 9.202 gigabytes on a roughly almost 6-hour tape. It should be twice as much. January 10th, 12:30 a.m. to 8:23 a.m. So that's a good 8 hours or so, which should be 24 to 30 is 11.3. So more missing time. January 8th, 1:23 to 7:06 a.m. about 6 hours, 8.1 gigabytes. More missing time. Should be about 18. Okay, that one's correct. Okay, January 10th, 12:30 a.m. to 6:23 a.m. 1113 or 11.3 gigabytes, and that on an 8-hour tape should be 3 times as much. 5:01 a.m. to 9:53, 17 gigabytes. So on a 5-hour tape, that's correct right there. Okay. All right. Oh, this one's correct. Okay. For example, January 5th, 11:48 p.m. to 8:24 a.m., 30.23 gigabytes. That is right. That's exactly what it should be. I was not bothered that night. January 4th, 4:44 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., 20.29 gigabytes. That is correct. January 5th, 12:58 a.m. to 8:45 a.m., 27.39 gigabytes. That is correct. 6:23 a.m. to 11:03 a.m., 16.46 gigabytes. That is correct because we're averaging 3 to 3.5 gigabytes per hour. Okay, January 31st, 19.58 gigabytes. 4:05 a.m. to 9:38 a.m. That is correct. See, now you're seeing, and there's a direct correlation between the beginning of me getting sick again, and then cutting the footage on the tape. These people have done outrageous things to me in the past. We have the 29th of December, 12:44 a.m. to 8:55 a.m., 28.85 gigabytes, correct. All right. 18.21 gigabytes on the 28th from 3:03 a.m. to 8:12 a.m., 5 hours, correct. 12:26, 8.58 from 3:30 or 3 o'clock or 3:03 a.m. to 9:04 a.m., 6 hours. This is incorrect. I got pulled that night. 12:27, 2019. So at 1:15 a.m. to 9:08 a.m., it's an 8-hour tape. We have 11.27 gigabytes, and that is incorrect. It should be like, twice as much or more. Okay, 12:25 Christmas night. We have 12:55 a.m. to 8:13 a.m. and this is 10.45 gigabytes. It should be twice as much on a 8-hour tape or even more. 12:21, 4:53 a.m. to 11:23 a.m., 22.95 gigabytes. Absolutely correct. 12:20, 3:51 to 8:48 a.m. That is correct. 17.41 gigabytes. Correct. 23 gigabytes. Oh, look how fat I am. Oh, that'll be a before picture for my diet. 2:26 a.m., 9:07 a.m. That is correct. 5:46 a.m. to 11:13 a.m., 19.24 gigabytes. Correct. So you guys are seeing the big difference in the numbers here. December 8th, 2:05 a.m. to 8:21 a.m., roughly 6 hours, 22.08 gigabytes. December 7th, 12:05 a.m. to 7:24 a.m., 25.78 gigabytes. That is correct. December 3rd, 11:29 p.m. to 6:23 a.m., 24.33 gigabytes. December 2nd, 4:30 a.m. to 7:37 a.m. And that is 3 hours and 10.98. That's correct. 5:45 a.m. to 8:03 a.m. and that is a couple hours, 8 gigabytes. Correct. 12:10 a.m. to 4:23. So that's about 4 hours, and it's 14.83 gigabytes on December 3rd. Correct. Let's see. 12:10 a.m. to 4:23 a.m. About 4 hours, and that is 14.83. Correct. 4:30 to 7:37 a.m. 3 hours, 10.98. That is right. And that is the end of the tape here. But I wanted to document because prior to December, I didn't have any real issue with tape footage ever being cut. I've been doing this for years. I know exactly how much, everything is. And my health is now being destroyed again through poisons, pesticides. My dogs are showing symptoms. Their feet are raw from whatever they're blowing into the house. I've had to wash blankets, clothes, everything nonstop because it literally gets all on my skin, all in their skin. They have chronic ear infections now from whatever this is. But yeah, I just wanted to document. But thank you for showing up today. Bye, guys.